All right. Welcome, everybody. Stefan, what a great session. Thank you so much for the great content. All right, let's get into it. My name is Brian Minick. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Zero Bounce. And today we're going to give you some information about 7 high-risk types of email addresses that are probably hurting your revenue, your ROI, or your email marketing performance. So we'll find out about what types of emails those are today, how to detect them, and what you should do with them. So once again, I'm Brian Minick with Zero Bounce. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. I come with 15 years experience, 15 plus years experience on the marketing and technology platforms. My background was software developer and moved over into the operations side of systems. And so I have a really good grasp on not only how systems work, but also how you take that and now implement it as a user. So I'm going to share some of that stuff with you today. And again, really look forward to it. And thank you everyone for joining. A little bit more about Zero Bounce. We are the #1 email verification platform. We have over 250,000 customers on the platform. These are just a small sample of some of the brands and logos that trust us with their data and the accuracy and quality that they're expecting. So if you're looking for email validation, we're going to talk about that here today, as well as some of the different types of classifications that we'll provide and what to do with those type of emails on your marketing list. So what are the types of emails lurking around your contact list, and how do they impact your email marketing performance? So the basics. These would be what we'll start here, and it's going to take the big chunk. So I'll get it out of the way because I think these are the most basic, and most people will understand this very clearly. Valid versus invalid email. A valid email is a safe email to use. This is someone that has a deliverable inbox. And this is somebody that will keep a bounce rate on your ESP or any of your sending platforms under 2%, which is really critical to maintain your sending reputation. High bounce rates will get you landing in the spam folder. It's going to affect all of your ROI and your performance. On average, we see about 57% of emails coming into our platform are valid. So it's more than half. That's great. Valid, again, is going to help with deliverability. So how we check that and how we get to that information is we actually connect to the mail server, connect to the mailbox, and see if it exists. If it exists and it's a deliverable email, we'll call it valid. If not, and if it comes back as an undeliverable email, meaning that email address does not exist, what you'll end up seeing is a status of invalid. These are unsafe to send to. They will hard bounce, and they will start to tarnish reputation. And ultimately, if it's too bad, will land you in the spam folder on your entire campaign and future campaigns, which is really the point that we want to make sure you're not getting yourself into here. So these can be for many reasons. I think we're all aware of the shakeups that are happening out in the marketplace, B2B emails. They're really churning. We're seeing a ton of layoffs in tech. These type of emails that might be lurking on your database that you've had, maybe you got them last year, they might not be good today. And you have to get them off of your list because there's no email marketing value on those types of email addresses. And so we'll help you scrub those out. On average, our platform is seeing about 20% of all emails coming into the platform are invalid emails, meaning they will hard bounce. So there's no sense in you storing that email, and there's also no sense in you even attempting to send to that email because it's going to bounce and start to affect your reputation. So these type of emails might be classed that way because there's no DNS set up, or they're not accepting mail. Maybe they only send mail, or the domain is just shut down. That's another one, or the person has left the company. So it can be on the person level or it can be on the domain level. But the whole point here is that these are not marketable contacts, and they should be removed from your database and removed from your sending campaigns. So I got 57% on valid, 20% on invalid. So 77%. I just covered a big chunk of your list, but here's where it gets really interesting. What about that remaining percent that maybe people are not even aware of? So there's gray area, and we're going to talk about that right now. So there's another part of your database that you will absolutely have, especially if you're in the B2B side. You will have catch-all emails or accept all. It depends upon how you want to call it or how the mail server might have that as an option. But for those who are familiar with it, what it means is that any single email you send to that domain, the mail server will respond back saying, yes, we'll accept the mail. There's problems with it, though, because this is not exactly, as an email marketer, what you're expecting. The outcomes might not be exactly what you're expecting. And so there's 3 possibilities that will happen here if you send to a catch-all email. One, it'll funnel into a box, a general box that might not be the person that you are intending to send an email to. This is very common in the business world. This is how people are handling when employees leave. or employee churns or department churns, they'll start to kind of funnel these emails somewhere else. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not talking about group emails. This is not a group email. This is not a role-based email, as we call them, and you'll see later. This is not an info at. This is not a sales at. This is a normal-looking person's domain and email address, but it's now potentially disabled. And so this email might bounce. This email might successfully deliver. That's also the question, the tricky part about these. And again, they might route to somebody else that you were never intending to email in the first place. You have to be careful with these, because what could happen is you start getting marked as spam for emails that you did not intend to send to the wrong recipient. So if I'm trying to mail Sally, but Sally's email has been turned off and now Sally's email is routing to Jonathan, you don't know that that's taking place. And what I'm doing here is flagging it so you're aware that this could be happening. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to these. We recommend pulling them out of your campaign and sending separately. And we have some tools as well that'll help provide some insight to them. But catch-alls are a little bit of an animal in itself, and you want to treat them with a little bit more care. They're not the same thing as a valid email. It's different. The next one, these are bad. You got to get them off your list. These are the abusers, the known complainers, the people who love to hit mark as spam when they very well could just unsubscribe. As an email marketer, there's nothing more frustrating than something like that. You've given them the tool to opt out. They don't opt out. They report you as spam. Now, many people just use their email that way, and that's how they manage their inbox. They just mark as spam. They get it out of the way. For them, it's actually harmless. But for you, it's actually pretty impactful to your sending reputation. If you have more than 1 out of 1,000 spam complaints, you'll start to get into spam land, or you start to potentially get blacklisted on certain providers. We detect these emails by having known history on them through sending partners. If they've marked emails 10 or more times as spam, instead of unsubscribing, we will mark them as an abuser or a complainer, and you can do something with that. I would highly recommend you not sending any emails to them if they're not explicitly requesting the type of content that you're going to send. So if they would just kind of dismiss the email, they're not going to dismiss it. They're going to mark you as spam. It's bad for your reputation. There's some other high-risk emails out there. Disposable emails. These are ones, they're burner emails. If you want to think of it that way, they self-destruct and they're based on a timer. So that timer can be as little as 10 minutes. That timer can be as high as 1 day, 24 hours. They're a temporary email address, and people are using these a lot to remain anonymous or get past your gated content because they don't want your marketing emails yet. They're not ready. They haven't hit that phase. So people will use these. You can quickly go to a website, spin it up. It can send mail, it can deliver mail, and receive mail. And so they're able to use these to get past a lot of your different barriers that you're creating. So you want to remove these. They have, again, no marketing value whatsoever. If you are getting a double opt-in and you're like, cool, but I've double opted, it's okay. This will bypass that. They can click your email, confirm it. 24 hours later, email destructs, the email account destructs, and you send a message to them and it bounces. So make sure it's off. Role-based, this is going back to what I was kind of talking about before. This is the info at, the sales at, support at, hello at, whatever it might be. While these emails sometimes are very good, you have to be a little careful with them. You might want to segment these off. You might not even want to send to them at all, especially if it's cold prospecting. But when you're sending emails to this, what the issue that could come to life is if you send an email to sales at, and sales at has 10 people behind it, and 10 people now got that email that want nothing to do with whatever you just sent, and 4 of those people mark you as spam, or even worse, most of them or all of them, now you have 10 spam complaints on one send. Really bad. And again, this, I've seen group emails with hundreds of people on it. It just depends upon the company, it depends upon all of that. So be careful with those role-based emails. They can lead to groups. Groups can lead to mass amounts of mark as spam, which can get you into some trouble. They're also really easy to guess. And so because of that, they're very strongly related to spam and abuse. People are constantly getting emails. They're just like, mark as spam, mark as spam, mark as spam. So be careful for those and watch out and break them off your list. 2 more, spam traps. These are email addresses that were specifically created to catch you in a trap as an email marketer and automatically blacklist you. There's different kinds of them. I don't have enough time to go into all the detail. They are bad. If you have one on your list, it's bad. They're putting you on blacklist the second you send to it, and they're provided by the ISPs and any of the data providers out there or the email marketing email platforms, and they're designed to lure bad actors and blacklist them to filter out spam. The rest would be something like do not mail. These are things that might have toxic domains. You have the bots. You have possible spam traps that we're able to detect. And you have emails that are on a global suppression that don't want your emails. So this is something that if they're not expecting your type of emails to come to them or they didn't double opt in, I would not recommend doing any of this or sending to any of these people. So this is just, again, a decent, quick, really hit quick with the different types of emails that might be lurking around here on your database. It's really important that you go ahead and do something about these types of emails, pull them out, and start to segment your campaigns to make sure that you're delivering mail to good recipients, good, valid recipients, and you're removing the potential and possibility for all of the bad actors to affect your campaign performance. So my biggest recommendation that I can make is to grab your data. You want to run it through validation, take only your valid list, send a campaign with just that, and then work through these riskier emails until you hit an a level that you're uncomfortable with either bounce rates, open rates, click-through rates, whatever it might be. But send to that valid piece first because it's going to help boost your sending reputation and give you a lot of kind of the good email juju that you want when you're building reputation out in the email world. There's a lot of spammers out there. You got to be careful of what you're sending and don't get caught up in their spam filters because you can follow some basic and really kind of tricky practices to get around and build good reputation. So these are the types of emails that you can do. Let's talk a little bit about if you're not sure about cleaning lists or you haven't done this in the past. We're going to talk about two things here: proactive and reactive. Many people coming to us are reactive, meaning they have an issue. They're already in spam. They're already getting blacklisted. And so they're coming to us to clean the data up. That's good. We can absolutely help you. But I highly recommend you also get proactive and put these types of tools on your sign-up forms, on your newsletter forms, whatever it might be, and catch this stuff in real time, as well as catch typos. Another thing what I didn't really talk about, but typos can be on your list. And if you have validation hooked up on the actual list and the form, you can catch that in real time, suggest the fix, let them correct it, and resubmit. It can all be done really quickly. It doesn't affect the experience for your customer. And if anything, they'll be happy that you caught a typo, especially with mobile. We all know how that is, catching typos here on mobile. So if you have a high bounce rate, over 2%, you have to clean your list. There's a problem with your list. It's stale, it's old, or maybe it's just grown over time and you've never done anything with it. You have to kind of scrub that down. Also, if you're getting the spam complaints, we have known data on this. Get these people out of your database, or at least remove them from your marketing material. They're not going to necessarily convert. They're going to cause you more problems than good. If you're constantly adding emails, you should be validating those emails before you ever send to it. That is best practice. Validate it before you ever send to it. And if you already have validated, continuously go back and do it again, because again, the churn is real. And especially in the B2B space right now, we're seeing a ton of data coming in and churning. So emails you collected a year ago do not mean that they're still good today. And you want to have some tools in place to help you and pull out your tool belt and allow yourself to kind of clean up the mess that could be right in front of you. Super easy to do, super quick as well. 100,000 validations will take you less than an hour. You can have all that clean data right back to you and ready to go for your campaign. So with that, it was a quick one. Like I said, wanted to give it to you hard, give it to you quick here. 1,000 emails. If anyone wants to do validations, wants to try it out, you're welcome to do 1,000 validations on us free of charge. Sign up for an account at zerobounce.net. You can reach out to our support team and tell them you came from the Guru conference and the quick hit, and we'll go ahead and add those validations to your account right away. No questions asked. So want to thank everyone here, and thank you again for Guru for having us here, and I hope you enjoyed the content.